So a little bit of a controversial subject, but I felt like we needed to talk about it a little bit. There's been a lot of talk about all over the country. People been hanging up Confederate flags. Pennsatucky, Florida. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They have what they call a graffiti wall, and basically what it is graffiti is against the law, but they have one wall that they say you can put wherever you want to up here. It's a free speech law. It's a free speech wall, and basically the idea is that any citizen of the town can come by and write or paint or put a sticker up, whatever they want to show their feelings, to show their emotions. Maybe there's something on their mind that they want to get out to the government. They can do all that on this wall. And there was a whole lot of Confederate flags up the last couple weeks. And they said that as soon as the Confederate flags went up, there was another crew behind them that painted over them. But there's been a lot of arguments going around about it. And yeah, just, what's your take on the whole situation?
They took down the flag, in South Carolina or whatever. I mean, to me, does it bother me seeing it? In a way. I mean, just don't approach me with none of that redneck shit, man, because, things will get serious.
Yeah.
You believe what you want to believe. I don't care. You got the freedom to do what the hell you want, But, that flag stands for a lot of real rotten, racist bullshit.
There is a legit argument that it's part of the Southern heritage.
Well, it is, and that's another thing.
And that it is a symbol of being a rebel. Because, they say, the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery. The Civil War was fought because the South didn't want to pay taxes and the North did. Mm-hmm. And slavery ended up getting involved. That's what everybody knows it of. And, that's when the slaves were freed and all that. But really, the war itself wasn't over slavery. It was, the South saying, we don't want to pay taxes. We want to live free. We want to do whatever we want. So it's kind of a rebellion symbol. And so now you got more and more people standing up and saying, I have the right to wear whatever flag I want, to wave whatever flag I want, to paint on this wall whatever I want to paint, And so it's like, in my standpoint, it's like, I was that soldier that fought for people's freedoms to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. But at the same time, I understand what it is you're saying when you wear that flag or when you wave that flag.
And that's the part of the problem. People don't understand. You know what I mean?
There was a big story about it because Doug Baldwin from the Seattle Seahawks, he's the wide receiver. He's from that town. And he's driving around and he sees a bunch of Confederate flags up. So he addressed the whole town. He wrote a letter. They said it was on his Twitter, but I seen the letter and it's like this long, and I think on Twitter they're only allowed 140 letters or whatever. And I don't know because I don't do Twitter, but it was real emotional talking about the whole idea of what that meant, and that he actually brought out documents of why the Confederates. Why the South wanted to go to war against the North, and part of those documents that were written from the leaders of the South said, these guys have the audacity to free the slaves. And it's like, to think about, like, somebody looked at someone else who's trying to free slaves and going, wow, that's a fucked up person for trying to do that. Like, to him, he kind of basically came out and said, the Confederate flag, to him, is a symbol of ignorance, because you got people that are waving it with pride, not really understanding what it means. And now, he said that his biggest concern is you got parents out there painting this flag on this wall, and their kids are there with them, also painting this flag on this wall, and they don't know why they're doing it.
Parents don't know what the fuck they're doing either.
So, like I said, there's a legit argument for it. Yeah. It is freedom of speech.
Right.
My thing is like, what's the point of all of it? Like,
I don't give a fuck what you do.
Personally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at a lot of groups, rock groups, you know what I mean? Yeah. I like Leonard Skinner. It's a rebel flag, and their shit. It's not like they're representing the South. Okay, That's the list. Always has been there. So they've been doing this shit for over 40 fucking years. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you got guys that do it out of spite, to be like, you know, looking at a motherfucker, you know, black or whoever, you know, other race, like we're inferior or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's points to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, man. As long as you ain't spray painting nigga on them, on some shit or something,
and
you know
there
what I mean?
wasn't anything of that
You know,
nature.
whatever you believe in, do you. But if, on the ignorant side of it, don't come, you know, trying to say this represents, you know, the white race and this and that. That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah. And there's some people out there with their Confederate flags that have that mindset. So it's kind of like, you know, there's some people out there with the Confederate flag that wave it with pride that say, you know, I'm a rebel. You know, I don't believe in what our government's doing.
Right.
You know, they have a legit standpoint.
A couple weeks ago on the back of a truck, I seen a Confederate flag, and then the flag next to that, you know, don't tread on me with the whole snake and shit.
Yeah.
Now that person right there, you already know what that's about. You know, so
Yeah.
that's like fuck anybody who's not white. That's what that's about.
Yeah, that's just, it's just the wrong way to be thinking. I mean, we are in a country now where any of your neighbors is likely to be a different race. You know, everybody knows I got white skin, but I'm not a full-blooded white guy. I am half black with a little bit of Indian, so it's kind of like I can never say that I know what it's like to grow up as a black guy, because I don't. But I do know what it's like to be a little kid and have white uncles that are using racial slurs against you and you not necessarily understanding what it means. And then 5 years later, I'm like, wow, my uncle said that to me. So it's like, if you're going to do it, try to be educated about it. And, you know, if you're still racist in this country, why are you in this country is my question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're a member of if you live on the southern states of the country and you want to say this is the way it should have been, and you want to say that this country is worse off because of the way it is, you don't necessarily have to live here. And that's the cool thing about this country, is you can leave anytime you want.
Right.
So,
but it's like this, you know, people, all that racist shit. How can you even watch sports and like a team? Baseball, Hispanic. Basketball, predominantly black.
Yep.
Football, predominantly black. I mean, how can you? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, half the stuff you like, you can't even like, because a person of color or whatever is involved. So, you gotta think about that. You know, hypocrisy, man. Trust me.